Hello friends, my name is Tukaram Dikshit. Today's date is 2nd February 2022. Today's our topic is constructor in Java. Constructor in Java. In that we can see first one is in constructor. It is a block of code similar to the method. Then it is called as instance of object of instance of class. Instance of the class is created at that time calling of constructor. Then memory for the object is allocated in the memory in the memory. It is special type of method which is used to initialize the object. Then every time object is created using the new keyword. So that's why whenever we can create object, then we can create a constructor. Then class we can use a object. Then we can whenever we can use a object, then we can use the new keyword. And in and class name and construction name is also same. Then it is a special type of method which is used to initialize the object. Then we can it is a default constructor. If there is no constructor available in the class, then in such case Java compiler provides a default constructor by default. And in the constructor there are two types of constructor in Java. Their first one is no argument constructor, and second one is a parameterized constructor. In that it is called as constructor because it conducts the value at the time of object creation. So it is not necessary to write the constructor for a class. Then it is the because of Java compiler creates a default constructor if your class doesn't have any constructor. Then how to create some rules create a constructor in Java. There are two rules. It is defined for the constructor. Then first one is constructor name must be the same as in the it's a class name. Then second one is the constructor must have no explicit return type. So in that no void or return type in that the constructor. So and then third point is the Java constructor cannot cannot be abstract, static, final, and synchronized. Then the next point is the types of constructor in Java. There are two types of constructor. First one is constructor, that means no argument constructor. And then second one is the parameterized constructor. Second one is the parameterized constructor. In that first one is Java default constructor. In that constructor is called as default constructor when it is doesn't have any parameter. So that's why it's called as default constructor. Syntax of default constructor is class name in a single bracket or curly bracket. For example of default constructor is the in this example we can create a non-argument no argument constructor with the class of which will be invoked at the invoked at the time of object creation. In that first one is bike system printer. Then bike is created. Then next one is the next one is the next one is type of next one is the object create rules. In that first one is what is the purpose of purpose of constructor. In that the default constructor is used provide a default values to the object depending on the type. In that next point is in that next point is the in that first point in the next point is the what is constructor, how to use constructor no, in that constructor Java parameterized constructor. How to connect then constructor which has a specific number, then parameter is called as a parameterized constructor. Next type is parameterized constructor. Constructor which has specific number like a parameter is called as the parameterized constructor. Then how use the parameterized constructor. In parameterized constructor is used to provide different values in distincting objects. However we can provide the same values also. For example of parameterized constructor is the create create a constructor student class that have different parameters. We can have number, id, then parameters is the passes from the constructor, then constructor. Then the next point in the constructor is the constructor overloading in Java. Java is in Java constructor just like a constructor just like a method, but without return type. It can also be overloaded like a Java methods. In that constructor overloading in Java, a technique of having more than one constructor in the different parameter list. So that's why it's called as method overloading. And then then method overloading. Thank you for today's topic, all of you.